everybody. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Monique and welcome to Medora Budgets. I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you are rocking with me, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell at the end of this video. If it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself and Sweets, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future family and finances so the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is, what does that say there? It says, yep, Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. We are here to do a lot. So we're here to cover our monthly budget overview. We're here to do a closeout for last week, a budget with me really quickly for this coming week that we're kind of now in because my weeks start on a Friday, go over our no spend, and then do a little expense tracking. We got a lot to cover, so let's get it. Let's go. So this is Big Bertha first. This is our monthly overview, and I use this to highlight out. I use the highlighter method, highlight out what my paycheck cycle is, write in all of my bills, and then anything else that's going on in my life that might actually require some type of financial contribution. And then this is what I use to kind of budget overall and make sure that I'm tracking to everything I need to do. So if you go in here just a tad bit, you'll see that we are working with the paycheck that I received on the 21st, and my weeks run from a Friday to a Thursday. So we're here to cover the information from the 21st through the 27th. So it is the 28th, and we've started a new week. I'm just here to cover that first week of the paycheck cycle. So we took care of tithes, mortgage, auto. Did not go on the college tour here. We spent all of our time doing the prom dress shopping. We did find a dress. You won't see those numbers documented in my budget form, but I'll show you where I am tracking those for my Ally credit card and how we're going to take care of those expenses. And then you've got City I took care of, Visible. So I signed up for Visible for my phone. I already had it for my daughter's phone. I thought I did it on the 28th. So that both of these amounts come out at the same time, but it looks like I did not. So Visible came out for one of the phones on the 25th, so I did have to make an adjustment there that you'll see. And then Apple Care came out, Disney came out, all of that was covered. I also covered electric as well as a part of this first week, and that's because the auto draft would have been for the normal amount, which is $130, but I wanted to pay extra so that I had a credit on the account leading into the summer months. So I had to go actually and make a physical payment for that for $200. So that's why that one has already been covered, even though it doesn't fall into the week of the 21st through the 27th. All right, so here we go, and here is the budget. So let's talk through it. When I did my budget with me, I actually had all of it combined for 2 weeks. So it actually showed a budget with me for March 21st through April the 3rd, because I get paid again on April the 4th. But I decided to break those up because now I am allowing for my bills account everything to auto draft the way that it should, instead of paying everything up front and then using any extra to make a transfer Tuesday debt payment to my Citi credit card. I'm doing things a little bit differently now. So because of that, and these things are coming out on an auto draft, they're going to come out on the day that it's expected. And I really want to make sure that I'm managing that appropriately. So the best thing I felt like I needed to do to help that process was to separate everything out. So this week I separated out this budget. All I'm going to talk about is March 21st through the 27th. And then you'll see the budget for March the 28th through April the 3rd in a moment. All right, so here's the numbers that and how everything laid out. Anything in green is good, and anything in red, it might be bad. So we'll talk about it. I did have $10 rollover for my bills account, so I did go ahead and document that here. Bills account, I put $1,500 in there. I'm accounting for $825 that's in my variable account. And then Micah gave me his $50. So I was only $10 higher. I shouldn't say only, but I was $10 higher in what my monthly inflow is, and that's why it's in green. For my fixed expenses, mortgage, I did get $430 for that. Auto, I did pay $255 on that. $299 to Disney Plus, $899 for my Apple Care phone insurance. As I mentioned before, I planned to, and I did pay $200 on electric, although it's actually $131. And then, as I mentioned before, I did not plan for any of my visible payments to come out of this week, but they did hit me with $125. It's all good. It's fine. But I did write it in red because it was not expected. So that total was $921.98. And that left me with $1,463.02 that I was working with. It is a little bit less than what I anticipated at first. All right, so my variable expenses came in this way. I did have groceries, gas, home, dining, and over-the-counter meds. Those are things that I allot for every week. And these numbers that you're looking at here are for a 2-week or paycheck period cycle. So that's 250, 100, 50, 60, and 50 equals. So every 2 weeks, I have $510 that goes towards my variable expenses. When you divide that by 2, that is going to be $255 every week that goes towards these costs. So I'm just going to write that in here. Y'all keep that number in your mind. $255 every week. Keep that number in your mind, okay? Because that will help things make better sense when we go over the expense tracking. The two things that I track are my bills account and my Chase Freedom credit card. Anything on my Chase Freedom credit card, that money is going to come out of my variable expense money that I allot for every paycheck, or it's going to come out of sinking funds. And if it doesn't come out of either one of those, I got to figure out where that money is going to come from to pay it so I don't end up paying any interest. So in this case, that was a total of $550 when you add Corinne's $40 into that. That was a total of $550. So that left me with $913.02. When you look at my Citi credit card here, you'll notice that was the only thing that I had to pay for as far as debt is concerned. That left me with $813.02 after they took that $100. And then here are my savings challenges and sinking funds. Everything came out as expected. That was a total of $325. And so that means that I was going to roll over $488.02, less than the $503 I planned on having, but that's because of the visible for the most part. All right, so then when that leads into my March the 28th weekly budget that I'm going to talk about now. This is going to cover March 28th through April the 3rd. So I'm working with $485. So I know that said $488.03, but I like to leave at least a little change, a little something in the account. So we're going to work with $485 on this case. I don't anticipate having anything else additional to contribute, so that's how much I am working with. Here are all the fixed expenses that should come out this week. Gas South, visible for that second phone. Ring, my home warranty, Spotify, Fubo is on pause right now. I do write it in here though, because I don't want to forget about it, because it's coming back August, September, sometime in there when football season starts again. So I do need to make sure I account for that. So that's why it's still there. BET at $6, property insurance at $175, and Audible is on a bi-monthly pay, so I don't have to worry about paying that this month. So that means a total of $384 that's going to go towards bills, and that should leave me as left over $101. Now I'm not going to contribute anything else to variable expenses. That's why you see that just marked out. I gave the whole $550 or the whole $510. Sorry, I got to take away Corinne's allowance. So that whole $510 went immediately on the card. The only debt that I have here was for Nelnet. That will get paid or auto draft this week for $82. When you take that away from the 101, that leaves me with $19. And then as far as my savings is concerned, I did start to contribute, or I have been contributing $5. So on Friday, they take $5 out of my bills account and they put it into the savings account that I have there. And I call that my bills buffer, just so that I have a little bit more money that I'm saving. I wasn't accounting for that before, but it is impacting my numbers because it happens every week. And so it is causing my bills account amount to, decrease. So I do need to make sure I'm accounting for that. And so that's what I'm doing here. So that should come out of that $19 that's left over, and that should leave me a total of $14 under budget. And if that's the case, then I'll take that $14 and we'll put it towards Citi credit card as an additional debt payment. All right, so that is what we're looking like for the budget. I'm going to scooch on over here and go to my no spend. Really quickly, this form came from Taj at Beautiful Budgets. She makes one for every month, so please make sure you go over and check out her YouTube channel. I think she has these posted on her community page. I can't remember for sure, but if you go to her YouTube page, you will be able to see it, and I'm sure she has a link there. So I'm using this. I'm going to turn it this way because I want to show my entire calendar, and as you guys see here, the kid ain't spending no money, y'all. So very clearly you can see. So what I decided to do is anything that I run my credit card for, Chase credit card for, even if it's not the variable expenses, even if it's something that's going to get paid for out of my sinking funds, I'm going to go ahead and document those into the calendar because it's just a really good view of how I am spending money overall. And so as you can see, for the most part, I am concentrating my spending on Saturdays and Sundays, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not spending money throughout the week. I wanted to get to 15 no spend days. So by my account, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I am already at 16 days. So I've met my goal. I'm going to very quickly talk about the fact that, well, let's do this. Week 3. That's what we're talking about. There you go. So this is 321, from 321 to 327. That's the week that we're talking about. This is the spend for my Chase Freedom credit card, and all of these amounts were the ones that you just saw a moment ago on the no spend. So let's talk about them. As far as credit card use, I spent $321.69, and this is how that amount broke out. As far as my food, personal, auto, family, and debt, those are the things that you see documented up here. My food was at $145.79. My personal spend was at $62.82. That's going to come out of my YouTube Gems sinking fund, so I documented that here. My auto variable expense was $15.10, and that was for gas. And family was for $97.98. That was the contacts, but that's going to come out of Corinne's sinking fund. And then debt was $84. That's not a part of my variable spend, but it is money that I needed to document. The only thing I forgot to do here was to separate out my food. So the total was $145.79, but there was dining was $25.98. So let me subtract that, $25.98. And that means there was $119.81 for groceries. $119.81 for groceries. Alrighty. So why are those numbers important? It's because I am tracking my variable expenses. That's the key, right? So my variable expense for this, that would have been food and auto. Those are the two. Total $160.89, where I allotted $255. That's why I said let's write down that $255 and let's keep it in our mind. I allotted $255. I only spent $160.89. So what that means, you know, sometimes I told you if I use that card and I got to figure out where that money is coming from, I have an extra $94.11 that's there and available to use if I use that city credit card for something else. Like, for example, today we might go and get something to eat, of course. It's going to be allotted for in that money. I've got a little bit of money left over, and I'm tracking right. So my variable's $250. I don't want to go over that amount. $255. Don't want to go over that amount. I didn't go over that amount for this past week. When I look at week 2 for my variable expenses, it was, what does that say? $211.07. I did not go over, so we're good. For week 1, $258.37. So I like to be at $255. So I was a little bit over, but it's okay because that was week 1. Week 2, I wasn't over, so I have a little bit extra left. Week 3, I wasn't over, so I have a little bit extra left. All right. And then for bills, I do the same thing. So my bills account, here you go. And you can see all of the different transactions here: debt, utilities, auto, home, and subscriptions. And so then what are these numbers used for? So for week 3, for my numbers, I have auto here. For example, auto here is $15.10 plus auto was here for my bills account at $255. So for my auto category, the green category, I spent $270.10. And so what I do is I come over here to auto and I write in week 3 total $270.10. And this is how I track to make sure that I'm hitting all of these budget categories based on what my expenses were, so that when I get ready to do my monthly overview for that green color auto, I know how much I have spent for the month. So that's how I am reconciling all of my numbers together and trying to make sure that I stay tracked. Now, this might seem like a lot for some people, but if you're like me and at one time in your life you were swiping without a care or concern about what you were spending, or if you got to the end of the week or the week before you got paid and you're trying to figure out where all your money went, this might be something that is helpful for you to make sure your expense tracking, the highlighting method, at least for me, really works to make sure that I'm honing in on exactly where my money is going. Okay, I think that is it. Thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.